Hello, my name is Adam Schroeder. I make stuff under the name R25th. I've been doing alt control, physical construction stuff since around 2017, and I've been with RunJumpDev since around the same time. I have two pieces that I worked on in the Claw. Oasis from a Dying Empire and Duplications Only Mimic the Whole. Oasis from a Dying Empire is a piece where you have a wooden rake and you rake through a bed of sand that's held in the bottom of the claw machine, and you use the claw mechanism to go around raking patterns into it, all while some ambient music plays. It's very similar to a executive desktop toy that you see here. I worked on it primarily with Amanda Hudgins, who helped co-design it and did most of the physical aspects of it, the painting, the application, all that. And I did the software and some of the co-designing. I'm not 100% sure where the idea came from. I think it was with John from Super Soul. When we were initially getting these claw machines, one of the ideas that sprung out of it right at the beginning was doing this kind of macro executive desktop toy idea. I really fell in love with that. I like the tactile nature of it and the fact that it is still using the claw machine portion of it. Pretty much we just remove the claw part of it and replace that with a rake, and you still control it using the same control panel, using the same motors, all that. Kind of some other inspiration came out of another piece that I worked on with Amanda Hudgins called the Glow Orb, which was a bunch of balloons that had LEDs diffused through them that we hung from the ceiling for Rules and Play 2019 at the Living Arts and Science Center. And in particular, a piece I had there called "The Thunderstorm Curdled Softly as We Drifted Off to Sleep and Everything Felt as If It Would Resolve Itself." So that was, there was a breathing light where the whole thing kind of pulsated like a deep blue, and then you had a control panel that controlled like thunder sweeps and wind, you know, those kind of sound effects and visual effects that went along with them. And a part of that is that it played rain noise along with the other effects as well as the ambient music. So it was this kind of relaxing experience where you had the white noise and you had the kind of long droning notes of ambient music that kind of faded into the background, into the ambiance, and that kind of created a whole space. And that's what I personally try to recreate with Oasis from a Dying Empire, is kind of this ambient music going throughout it that's kind of isolated to this one space, and no failure or win states. Either you could be creative with it, you could draw stuff in it, or you can just create a grid and then wipe over it, do a vertical one and a horizontal one, or you can do whatever you'd like with it, but kind of sinking into this experience where it's kind of takes up your peripheral vision. Just focus on this, you just kind of relax and melt away with it. Kind of like an oasis. It's the name. So that was kind of the main goals that I personally had for it. Again, I didn't originate the idea, but as a piece I took on, those are some ideas that I tried to really forwardly implement into it. Some issues that I had with it is when we took it to MagFest in Washington, D.C., I still to this day don't know what happened to it, but the whole controller electronic board died on me on the first day, and luckily RunJumpDev member Shay stepped in and was able to create a kind of stopgap solution, because I was focused on getting another piece working that I was the only artist on, so we didn't have that kind of backup that luckily the Claw show kind of had loosely implemented, because all of RunJumpDev members kind of had a hand on each one of the machines. So I'm saying that me and Amanda Hudgins worked on Oasis, but like Shay helped me write the code that ran the Claw. Matt Hudgins helped me debug it. John helped with a little bit of the physical construction and figuring out the mechanics of the claw machine itself. So we kind of have this nice backup structure where Shay was able to step in at MagFest and get something up and working. So another thing that we kind of struggled with was how to attach the rake onto the actual claw mechanism, because at MagFest we had it attached on the string that the claw used, but an issue was that the rake was way lighter than a claw. Try and drag it through the sand and it would kind of get tilted up like on an angle, so only like 2 of the 5 prongs were dragging through the sand, and it was really delayed, and I personally really wasn't happy with this. I imagined a rigid structure where you did lose the part of the claw machine where you could pick up the claw and move it around and then re-drop it, but you're able to have consistent contact with the sand and have a clean line through the whole thing. And my father Ezra helped out. He made the bed that the sand sits in, as well as helped me out and fashioned a solution that is kind of this horseshoe shaped thing that command strips onto the bottom of the claw mechanism and has a hole that you can shove a dowel with the rake attached onto it and screw it in place. And that's worked really well for this show. I was a bit worried that it'd be too rigid and that you would be able to like snap it by creating, like, it gets stuck in the sand and then the whole thing torques. But really it hasn't had that issue. Honestly, since install, breaking the fourth wall, this is about a month out from install, so it's been around for a while. But in contrast to MagFest, where it died randomly, it's been a tank this time. I haven't had to go fix anything. We had to replace the claw once right at install, so not even when the show was open. But that was like the only snag. It's been running pretty fine this whole time, and that's one thing I'm really proud about it, now at least. Another thing I kind of wish I had working was that there was supposed to be a vibration motor that vibrated the sand and shook it and kind of act like an Etch-a-Sketch reset, where you like shake the whole thing and the iron filings resettle so you can start from a blank slate. Unfortunately, there was no real way to attach it to the underside of the tray in a way that was super secure, but also didn't make it not sand tight anymore. That's one thing that I really wish I could get working and just didn't have the time for. But I do, as a result of that limitation, I do kind of like how in order to reset it, you have to make a clean grid of lines through it. So a part of that play experience is resetting it to a blank slate again. And that's something that I like and I'm pretty proud of. And overall, I think Oasis from a Dying Empire turned out really well. Like, there's minor niggles, but there's always minor stuff with physical controller stuff. Oh boy, do I want to throw one of those claw machines into an ocean. But, yeah, I think overall it's turned out really well.